Hey everyone, welcome to today's podcast. We're talking about calm weight loss because this is the opposite of what you're trying to do. If you really reflect on times when you start your diet, you're probably going to notice that there's a strong sense of anxiety, stress, tension, all this kind of anxious, sympathetic, fight, flight, or freeze nervous system energy. And what I want for you, because it gets the best results, is to calm down and let that calm feeling within your body and your mind be the foundation upon which you build all your weight loss success. And it's as simple as starting with your body, right? Your path along the calm weight loss, pathway begins by relaxing your shoulders, right? Relaxing your neck and your face, relaxing your stomach, taking deeper breaths, connecting to your body, right? Connecting to yourself, intentionally kind of lowering that anxiety, lowering all those kind of anxious feelings, and intentionally feeling more relaxed and calm and at peace. And this becomes a cornerstone of the whole process for you. If each and every day, a couple times a day even, you take a moment and you connect to this feeling, reconnect to it, reconnect to it. And you start from here. You feel a craving for some food. Instead of just freaking out about it, worrying about it, you calm down, you relax, you reconnect to why you want to do this in the first place. You see, because when you're anxious and stressed, your sympathetic fight, flight, or freeze response goes off. And that's a state where the blood goes from your brain down to your body. So you're not thinking clearly, you're just reactive. You're in your muscles, right? Adrenaline rushing through your body. You can't think straight. You forget why you're even doing this. You're just fighting against the cravings. You forget why. When we calm down, when we relax, we reconnect. We allow the blood to go back up to our brain. We can think more clearly, right? More creatively. We can start to remember, yes, I want to eat better because this is really important to me. I want to look better. I want to feel better. I want to live as long as I possibly can. And the best way for me to do that is to really take care of what I eat, how I'm living, and to really make this a focus. And then you stay in that calm, relaxed place. And now you make the food decisions you're going to make, but you make them from this place. And it's a completely different energy, completely different vibe. You're more connected to your resources, your abilities. You see? And so no one ever thinks about doing this because most people approach weight loss you're already overwhelmed, already exhausted, already stressed out. Now you're going to add more stress to it by starting a new diet and trying to change everything all at once, right? And it rarely works. So this calm way, I suggest, is the way. It's the way you're going to get the best results possible. And it's so easy, The hard part's remembering to do it. So you can set a timer for yourself a couple times a day where when it goes off, it can just be that much. It can be 10 seconds of relaxing, taking a deep breath and going about your day. But what it does is it's something that's consistently happening in your day that's lowering that stress level, reconnecting you to more of your abilities, more of your clarity, your awareness, and the reasons why you want to make this happen. And the more connected you are to those and the more clearly you're thinking, the more you make better choices that help you take control of your weight once and for all. Okay. So I hope this serves as some inspiration for you to really start walking that calm weight loss path. At the very least, play around with it and experiment with it and notice if you don't get much better results, because it's much easier to do the things that are going to get the results you want when you feel calm and relaxed. All right. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Let's see. I don't know. It's not too many people in here yet. Oh, there we go. I guess I couldn't see them. So we're getting some people in. But yeah, where are we at? A Monday? Where are people at with their weight loss? They're kind of kicking it off again. Monday's always the day when people that are extreme weight loss people, dieters, usually trying to no sugar tomorrow, no carbs, 1,200 calories, just broke your fast of 16 hours. What are we doing? What are we doing to lose weight this week? Usually it's something that's going to be unsustainable and it's really difficult. So some of my favorite days of all to get on here are Sundays and Mondays. Because Sunday, it's kind of like filled with all this hope. They actually have a word for it. They call it the false hope syndrome, and it's especially prevalent with dieters because it's this magical thinking that some Monday, magically you're going to be able to follow that plan perfectly, and then get the results you want. And whether that, why would you think that way, right? I mean, you might have tried doing that, 50 times before and it hasn't worked. But our brain is like this. And so, so Sundays, people are usually that false hope syndrome. And then Mondays, I like to get on there right around this time. Usually that's where they're kind of getting into the reality of the cravings coming at them and the inability to stay on track, And so I get on here trying to help you out, because one of the worst parts of that process is that you start to develop this belief that you can't do it. That there's some problem with you, that you don't have willpower, you're addicted to sugar, or whatever story you're kind of telling yourself. When in reality, the core problem you have is that you have never learned how to influence your thoughts. You've never learned how to influence your mindset, and you have never learned how to influence your behaviors, really, right? You've got one tool, willpower, and you try and use that willpower to fight against yourself. And that is your strategy to influence your behaviors, right? You keep cycling through different philosophies and diets, but really it's the same process, because it's just you trying to force yourself to do it. Usually lasts for a little while. HD Dan says, how to start losing weight when you have the diet or mindset. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, you may not like this answer, but if you can appreciate that you have a diet or mindset, which you do, most likely, if you're struggling with your weight, you have two mindsets. I was just thinking of this coming over, like more specifically. The food companies have installed and conditioned you to have an overweight mindset, right? Because every food commercial you've seen millions of them at this point, they're always associating you to increase your desire and cravings for their food. And so you're kind of always hungry, always struggling to eat those foods. So you have the overweight mindset that's been installed into you. And you have another mindset, a dieter mindset. And that one was installed into you by the diet companies. Now, a lot of times they're the same company. The food industry and the diet companies are the same thing. Did you know Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz? Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company that owns Atkins Food Products, the same company that owns Onions, Pretzels, and Cinnabon. The company that owns Slim Fast, the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So these really are the same companies, and they've installed two very unique mindsets into you when it comes to your weight. You have an overweight mindset, which is your normal mindset, and you have a dieter mindset. When you're really upset and focused, I'm going to lose the weight, and then you try and cut. Again, you do extreme measures. That's your dieter mindset. Is you think short term. You say, I'm going to diet until I lose the weight. It's temporary, it's short term, so I want to get it over as quick as possible. Give me the most extreme plan. That's a dieter mindset. So how do you start losing weight on that? Well, the first thing you have to realize is, holy shit, my thinking is not right. I'm thinking like a dieter. I've been thinking like a dieter for the last 20, 30, 40 years. This is the problem. I need to stop focusing so much on information, more diet information, and start focusing on transformation, specifically my mindset. I need to start thinking about my weight, food, my health, my lifestyle differently. I've got to change the way that I'm thinking, because I can't think the same way about food, myself, my lifestyle, my health, and live at a lower weight. How would that work? And so the real secret is not just changing your external behaviors, but really starting to appreciate. And again, awareness precedes change. Starting to appreciate, hey, my thinking. I think like a dieter. I'm all or nothing. I'm very extreme. I jump right into these plans 100%. I usually stick with them for a day or a week, and then I can't keep it up. I got to do something different. Well, what's that difference? Well, the first difference is not external. It's in here. And it's to realize I don't want to lose weight. I want to get to my goal weight, and I want to live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on near autopilot. That goal sets you up to walk a different path. The second you start saying, I want to live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on near autopilot, it almost eliminates that dieter mindset, because a dieter mindset is just about how fast can I lose the weight, and how fast can I lose. Well, if it's temporary, I'll do anything. I'll cut my calories down to 1,000. I don't care. Anything to lose the weight. But when you start thinking long-term, how are you willing to live? Right? Because a lot of people, you've got a goal weight you're not willing to even live at. You're not even willing to diet and get to it. Right? So you have to pick a weight that's a weight you're willing to live and eat at. And that's part of this process of figuring that out. And so we approach it strategically. We're not doing it all at once. We're going to strategically change the way that you eat, the way that you live, and the way that you think. That's how you become a thin, healthy person. And it doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in a fucking month. Again, this isn't your fault, folks, but you've been conditioned by the diet industry to think about your weight loss in terms of weeks and months, maybe. But the truth is, your goal is you want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. You have got to expand this time frame to forever. Oh, I'm going to have to lose weight forever. No. You're going to master your weight forever. It's a completely different mindset. And so it starts by thinking differently, not by eating differently. Do you understand? I hope that makes sense. And so that's kind of how you start. You start losing weight by realizing you have a dieter mindset and work on starting to transform that, what I would suggest, and I'll probably say this 50 times, go to my bio, click the link and get the hypnosis session I give you. Okay. That's an opportunity for kind of step into it and feel what it feels like to be a weight master. And I'll give you a training as well. But those are the 2 steps I'd suggest. Ninja Ran, I have to thank you for your free hypnosis. I was in the process of making changes, and after the hypno, it felt easy. Wow. Lost 10 kilos in 7 weeks. That's awesome. And I'm going to screenshot that because I love, I love these. Yeah, you see what I'm saying, folks? Listen, I got the Robin Hood model as my business, so it costs a lot to work with me privately. I have a great deal of work in my coaching program, my group coaching program. Then I give everything away for free. So, everything I'm telling you can make all the difference in the world for you to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. But it takes thinking differently. And I give you the hypnosis session for free just to get tested. So Ninja Ran, that's great. Okay. That's an awesome job. Keep it up. Keep it up. 10 kilos in 7 weeks. Super, super, super. When I'm 7 hours in school, I have snacks with me, of course, and they're the only thing I can think of. I eat all of them in the first hour, but it's not binging, but I want to keep them for later, but I can't. Okay. So, here's the thing. Less than 3, right? Is you need a better strategy. Okay. Listen to this, folks, because this is really important what I'm about to say. You have one tool to influence your weight loss. It's willpower. I have to stop eating. And what's happening a lot of times, if we could simplify this real easy for you, the biggest reason I believe that you're struggling to lose weight is because you think you have to fight against your hunger in order to lose weight. And so you try not to eat because you think that's going to help you lose weight. And then you get so hungry, you overeat. And you keep repeating this pattern. And so the solution is not to fight against your hunger, it's to manage it. And so what I would say to less than 3 is that you're probably getting to school way too hungry. I'm guessing, right? If you're thinking about the snacks the entire time you get in there and you're eating them all in the first hour, you're probably really hungry. And so what I would suggest is, I don't know what you're eating for breakfast, but I would optimize that. I would work on optimizing that so I don't walk into school so hungry. So I'm less thinking about the food. People wonder why they're obsessed with food when they're dieting. Okay. Why is that? Well, it's because you're designed that way. Do you understand? Like, the hungrier you get, the more your senses tune into food, right? Do you know this? Like, literally, visually, you start picking up all sorts of food cues in your environment. Auditorily, you can hear people opening up, bags of cookies across the street. You can smell food from 10 miles away. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how we're built. So yeah, the hungrier you are, the more your senses get cued into all the food cues that are going off. You get hungrier, you get more focused on it. So that's a hard way to lose weight, by feeling that way and then just stopping yourself. That's a miserable way. A much smarter way is to intentionally learn how to manage your hunger so you're never that hungry, so that it's easier for your senses just focus on other things because you're not starving. Hope that makes sense. I'm 160. I want to go back to 145. I feel the best then. Well, that's great. So what you want to do is, once you have that goal, that sounds like a great goal. Okay. Is you want to test that goal out as much as possible. You really want to imagine, what is life at 145? You have to give your goal weight more meaning. Most people are walking around just saying a goal weight that's kind of arbitrary. And I know this. I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. I always ask the people, what's your goal weight? Okay. Why'd you pick that? Why do you want to weigh that? I don't know. That's what I weighed when I was 20. That's what I weighed when I got married. That's what I weigh because that's when I lost a bunch of weight on Weight Watch. That's what I weighed. That's it. That's your reasons. That's why you want to completely transform how you're eating and living so that you can, you know what I mean? So you have to give your goal weight more meaning. Now, the way I usually do that is I take the weight loss and wrap it in personal development. If you can change this process from primarily being about losing weight to being the best version of yourself, then you're gonna have a much easier time, So what's you at 145? See, when we say 160, 145, we're thinking superficially. Now, you've been trained to think this way. A lifetime of diet ads, every single diet ad is the before and after picture and how long it took them to get there. It's always visual, though. It's always superficial, aesthetic. It's what we look like. What you look like and wanting to look different for most people is not enough motivation to create that transformation. You need to have more reasons why. Luckily, that's easy to come up with, because you've got the truth on your side. The more, the closer you get to your goal weight, usually the healthier you're going to become. Okay. And the way you make that happen, if you do it in the right way, it also helps you become a better version of yourself. because now you're living congruently with your deepest goals, values, and beliefs. Now you're eating and living in a way that energizes you, that makes you feel better physically, mentally, emotionally. You see? So there's a lot of motivation that you can tap into, but you're never taught to do that because you're just, again, the only one teaching you about weight loss is diets. And they don't work, first of all, and I don't think they want to either. Ninja Ram, when I changed my thinking, my hunger disappeared. How will I feel after I eat this magic? Yeah, right? This is what I'm trying to say to everyone. It's like, all the diets, every weight loss thing you've ever done is always some version of them telling you what to do, telling you how you should eat, how you should exercise. And it's like, you got the information, you know what you should do, but you can't get yourself to do it. So how do you get yourself to do the things you already know you should? That's the missing piece of your weight loss puzzle. You know enough about what you should and shouldn't eat to lose weight, what you should and shouldn't do to lose weight. Your biggest problem is you can't get yourself to consistently do it. You don't know how to influence your behavior, so you naturally act the way that's going to help you live in the body you want to live in, be the person you want to be. And so again, Ninja Ram, again, what we're thinking, we're like little computers, and we got programs we just run. And part of them, again, we can think of them as like mantras. We have these mantras, these things we just say to ourselves on autopilot. Literally. Listen, all of our thoughts, in these mantras, we talk to ourselves, right? We got an internal dialogue, right? We talk to ourselves in our head, right? That voice inside your head is probably influencing your weight more than anything else. It's your internal dialogue. It's your own personal hypnotist. That's why hypnotists say you are your own best or worst hypnotist, because you're up in your head talking to yourself all day long. What are you saying? Well, what you're saying is one of the most direct things that's going to impact your weight. See, you're getting weight. You're picking up your weight loss process too far into it. Okay. It's kind of like, there's a train, has an ability to get a fork in the road and to go one way or the other. And the time to figure out which way it's going to go is not when it's going 100 miles an hour. It's going nice and slow at the beginning. And so what's happening for you is that you have no deeper sense of how you're creating your cravings, how the way you're thinking is causing you to behave exactly the same way, how it's feeling you to feel discouraged about how to lose weight. It's all your mindset. And so as you change your thinking up, little pieces of information, as you change those up, you change the whole process and it can become easier. What you're trying to do is you keep trying to do the same thing. You keep trying to force yourself to eat differently, and it doesn't work. It's never going to work. You've got to change the way you're thinking. Again, you can force yourself to do anything for a little while in the beginning. Now, again, if you're in your 40s and you haven't lost weight dieting, you probably find yourself now constantly thinking about weight loss and unable to even get started on a plan. Week in and week goes by, and you want it to be next Monday, but it just never shows up. You can't get yourself started on a plan, even though you think about weight loss 24 hours a day. And that just gets harder the older you get, because you have all the experience. You have the experience of losing weight on a diet and then putting it back on. And that is one of the most devastating things that can happen, because it creates the belief that I can't lose weight. Even when I lose weight, I fail. And once you have that belief, you're just stuck. That's when you get stuck. I constantly think about weight loss, how to do it, but I can't get myself to do it, And so that's where I come in. Those are the people I end up helping like that. But yeah, you got to change how you're thinking for sure. But yeah, so I don't know what else are you guys doing today? It's fascinating to me too. I've been doing this for 30 years personally, 20 years professionally, helping people master their weight. And, you just watch the diets come and go. And the big diets now is intermittent fasting, obviously, keto-based, carnivores picking up. But how do we get to this place, of such extreme diets? And they're all extreme, folks. Okay, let me let you know. They're all extreme. But the diet industry sells you extreme solutions. It's part of the whole plan. Again, the diet companies don't want you to lose weight. They want to keep you coming back, and they want you to keep eating the food, because the diet companies and the food companies are the same thing. So they teach you strategies that seem like they would work, but they don't work. It's like carnival games, right? You ever do a carnival game where the carny just like, the one I always talk about is like, I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a softball and you throw it into a big wicker basket sort of thing. And it's like, you're walking down the game part and you see the person, and they're just like, they're hook shots and behind their back. And every time they do it, it goes right in. And you say, okay, well, I can do that. That's easy. And you go and do it as soft as you can, and it bounces right out, right? That's kind of what diets are. It's like they give you this extreme plan that they promise will work really fast. But if you take a step back, you got to ask the question, is that how I want to live forever? Do I want to eat meat every day only for the rest of my life? Do I want to not eat for 16 hours every day? Do I want to eat 1,200 calories a day? You know what I mean? Like, you have to look longer term. You can't just look at the weight loss piece of it, because the weight loss phase is temporary, folks, right? See, you don't even think that way, but the weight loss phase is temporary. It's going to take you a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe a couple years to lose the weight you want to lose. But then the real goal is to live the rest of your life at that weight. But if you do this extreme thing to lose the weight, it's like you never really learn how to live at your goal weight. Is this not the problem? Right? You never learn how to have a thin, healthy mindset. Where would you learn that? And so right now, again, you've got this overweight mindset, your normal mindset, and you've got your diet mindset. And you just flip-flop between them. Some people flip-flop between those two mindsets their whole lives. Never learn how to think like a thin, healthy person. That's what Program Yourself Thin is all about. You know, it's one of the few programs I've ever seen that really helps you develop a thin, healthy mindset so that you can think, live, and eat like a thin and healthy person for the rest of your life with a plan that's custom designed for you. You know what I mean? Like, all these things you never think about, you know? Ninja said, I tried high fat, paleo, keto, did not last. Yeah, I mean, join the club. Again, listen, outliers are always going to succeed with any program. There's always people that succeed with literally every program. The cantaloupe diet, the grapefruit diet, there's every diet out there, and there's people on all of them that have succeeded. Have they kept the weight off? Well, very, very few. You know, there's always outliers. But again, what you have to do is you can take into account these different philosophies. I think they all got something to teach us usually. But I think that most of these diets go too far and they're unsustainable. You know what I mean? They're temporary solutions, if that, you know? And a lot of people have that experience. You know, you try, and listen, here's the problem. Trying these different diets, it really is not the problem. The problem is that you try the diets, it doesn't work for you, and then you keep going back to it. How many times have you tried starting keto? How many times have you tried joining Weight Watchers again? You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you done this? And I appreciate the resilience. What I don't appreciate is the doing the same exact thing over and over, and think it's going to be different, right? The definition of insanity, right? But if you really reflect on your weight loss, I think what you're going to notice is it's the exact same pattern, right? You get in this hamster wheel of thought where you don't think about your weight. Now the weight goes up. Then all of a sudden you get upset. You see the picture of yourself. You step on the scale. You go see the doctor. Someone says something shitty to you. The clothes don't fit. You get really upset. That's it. I got to lose this weight. And you go back into, time to start keto again. Okay, no sugar tomorrow, 1,200 calories, whatever your extreme solution is that you've tried 50 times and hasn't worked. Okay, tomorrow's the day I'm going to do it, right? And it didn't work. It hasn't worked any of those times before, one. And two, you failed with those times so many times, and now your mind associates this, this ain't going to work either. You don't believe it's going to work. You sit here listening to me, and if you're really honest, you don't believe you can lose weight. You don't believe you can keep it off. You don't think you can be successful. That's mindset 101. If you don't think it's going to work, how hard are you going to try to make it happen anyways? Right? We're in this paradox now. And here you sit, and you think it's because you don't have the willpower. It is not that. It is that you think like an overweight person and you think like a dieter, and you flip-flop between those two. And your whole reality is built around those two mindsets. Normal, I think like an overweight person. That's my normal thinking. When I'm not paying attention, that's how I'm thinking. Or when I'm really focused and motivated, I'm a dieter. All or nothing, right? All diet, nothing, overweight. And you just keep flip-flopping between those two. And you even realize that you say, Jesus, I'm all or nothing. I got to stop doing that. Well, your brain doesn't understand negatives. You can't, I got to stop overeating. I got to stop being overweight. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop that. I got to stop that. I got to stop that. Well, your mind says, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? And here's the problem. You don't know what you want to do. You don't even know what your goal is. Do you know that? Just because you set a number just now, that's not the goal. A number, that's not enough. You know what I mean? There is no context to your goal, which is another way to say that there's no real meaning to your goal. You're not, let me put it real blunt. You don't even want to lose weight. You don't even want to lose weight. You've got to make this distinction. You wish you'd lose weight. You wish you'd wake up tomorrow and just, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, now I'm doing it. But you don't want to. And that's the first thing you got to recognize. You know, in the program Yourself Thin, the first thing I take you through is the motivation piece. Why? Because you're not really motivated right now. And you should welcome this message, folks. Don't get upset with me. You should welcome this because now you can fix something. It's better than being like, I don't know. I tried everything and nothing works. I don't know. I tried everything. Nothing works. What a horrible thing to keep saying to yourself. I know that's what you're thinking, but it's not true. Is it true that you've tried everything and nothing works? Or is it true that you've tried a lot of diets, which are all the same? Are the diets not all the same in the sense that they tell you what to do? Eat this. Okay, well, how? How do I change my behavior? I don't know. Just do it. Just follow the plan. Just do it. Right? Oh, so simple. Is it though? Is it simple? Has it been simple for you to change your eating? And this is the piece of the puzzle that no one ever talks about. How do you get yourself to do it? How do you get yourself to eat the way you know you should? Anyone? How do I do this? Right? Everyone's struggling with the exact same problem. Just to drive the point home, if you were a robot and you just typed in what you're going to eat all day and then you just ate that because you're a robot, would you have any problem losing weight? No. The problem is you can type out what you want, but you're a human. So when noon comes, you say, oh, I'm not going to have a cookie today. I'm not going to have a cookie. Are you sure you don't want a cookie? Really? Is life really worth it? Who gives a shit about the extra? Come on, let's just have the cookie. Oh, you're going to think like that and you're not going to eat the cookie? Maybe for a day or two. So what do you think is driving all of your behavior? Do you not think it's your mindset? Do you not think it's primarily your mindset? I think it is. So if you think it's your mindset, please go to my bio, click that link and get the hypnosis session. You ever never done hypnosis? Test it out. It's not spooky, weird shit. It's just me relaxing you calming down, you hearing my voice. It feels like when you watch a movie or a TV show, you're in a state of hypnosis, folks. Okay. What are you doing? You just kind of sit there, you relax and you vicariously experience the movie or the show you're watching. Right. And you have feelings because of it. If you're watching sports, you're kind of hyped up. If you're watching a sad movie, I feel sad, right? And you have emotions that are related to what you're watching and imagining. Okay, so when's the last time that you have imagined in vivid detail how you want to look and feel and live your life at your goal way as the best version of you? When's the last time you took a few moments and really, really connected and clarified how you want to look, how you want to feel, how you want to live your life? When's the last time you did that? Oh, did you say never? Do you think that might be important once in a while? Do you think it might be helpful along your weight loss journey to once in a while really connect to the goal you want to achieve? You're trying to motivate yourself. I don't want to be overweight. I got to stop overeating. I got to stop eating all that shit. I got to stop eating the sugar. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing this. Well, what do you want to do? There's nothing there. You have no wiring. You don't have a thin, healthy mindset. Do you think that's important to have? Is that part of your goal, to create a thin and healthy mindset so that you can live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot? Is that appealing concept at all? Is it? Or would you rather just go through a lifetime of trying to lose the weight on diets? I don't know how to make it any fucking clearer. I get on here every day and I'm just always looking for ways to articulate a better way for you, to motivate you to just click a link and get started on a different path for free. People are funny, it's like, I don't know what it takes. You're so convinced. I guess it's the sunk cost bias thing. You know about that? Like when you invest a bunch of money or energy, time into something, it's like, it's so hard to let it go, right? Because the regret of oh shit, I've been wasting 30 years on a diet. I could have been living my goal weight the whole time. And something about that, letting that go, it's too painful to do. I don't know what it is. I don't know why every person on these lives doesn't go and grab the hypnosis session, listen to it, and watch the training I give them. It's free. It literally lays out a whole am I saying things that don't make sense to you, folks? How can I be? You're a smart person. You think about weight loss 24 hours a day for the last 40 years. Don't you find it crazy that you stumble on a live with some guy who's all of a sudden saying things that make more sense than you've ever heard in your whole life about weight? I hope that opens the door in your mind that maybe it could be different. Maybe it doesn't have to be a fucking diet that I hate and struggle with and hate doing. Because why? Here we are Monday. You were going to start last Tuesday. You're going to start this Monday, right? Here we are, right? Just, oh, shit. Well, why don't you start? Let's talk about that. Why are you not starting a plan? It's not rocket science. It's because you don't want to do it. You associate diets and weight loss process with miserable shit. I think that's part of the plan. You hate it because you're all or nothing. And usually nothing. So to get up to all takes a tremendous amount of motivation. And the only motivation you've seen that got you up there is, again, that pain-based motivation. Is step on the scale. You see the picture of yourself. You have to get from nothing to all. You have to be usually really upset. And when you make a decision, when you're really upset, it's usually temporary, So what's the alternative, right? You're not going to believe this. It's to be all or something, So okay, here we are Monday. Ah, shit, another week I didn't start. It ain't blown though. Because the best weight loss plan, you're not going to tell when it's the right weight loss plan if you could start it right now. The plan you want to start right now. I started this whole call off talking about calm weight loss. What if you built your weight loss around being calm and relaxed and at peace? Wow. Never even thought of that, did you? Because how do you usually start these diets? You're stressed out, tense. You're overwhelmed. Are you the only not overwhelmed person in America in 2023? You're not tired, stressed, anxious? Really? Really? You don't think that feeling and that way of being has a lot to do with how you're eating and living that's causing you to be overweight? To me, that feels like the core of the problem physically is you're in a constant state of stress. Probably. Most people are, like the generalized. I'm speaking the general population, right? So what if you calm down and relaxed a bit more? Take a deep breath. Think about what's at stake here and do something today. See, you think all or nothing, but what if you start thinking all or something? What if instead of going from nothing, where you've been at, to doing something perfect, no carbs, no sugar, 1,200 calories, counting all my points, not eating for 16 hours. What if instead of making this jump, you went from the jump of doing nothing to doing something? I'll go to bed a little early tonight. I'm going to cut down the ice cream. I'll eat half as much as I normally do. I'm going to drink a little more water today. I'm going to work on optimizing my breakfast, make it healthier. Doesn't that feel more doable? See, you have to think about your weight loss like it's like a cable. They develop cables, right? They just keep stringing wire together. They keep wrapping wire around itself, and eventually it gets thick and it's a cable now. You see, you have to think about your behaviors and your habits like this, your mindset like this. You can't just make it happen all just one day. And listen, all humans are impatient by nature, A, but B, on top of that, we're just conditioned when it comes to weight loss to be hyper impatient. We're probably more impatient about weight loss than anything else in life. And it messes us up because you're thinking about your weight loss like it's a sprint. If you think about it like a race, right? A sprint, you have to be perfect to win a sprint. Like if you trip a little bit, you're going to lose. If you're running a marathon, you can trip and then recover. And so every time you go on a weight loss plan, because you're approaching like it's a sprint, any little mistake feels catastrophic. And you can't win that way. And that's not even the point. So why not make it simple? Why not start right now today? Take 1 minute to just relax and calm down. Really commit to it and go listen to the hypnosis session I give you. But why not do something little and start working on being consistent? Do you know that consistency is your biggest challenge behaviorally? Yeah, you can force yourself to eat however you want for a couple days, but how do you make it consistent so that you automatically and naturally eat and live in a way that keeps you at your goal weight? You never ask that question and you never work on coming up with that strategy, right? Do you? You don't. And so again, I want you to embrace this and welcome this, because now if we don't know something's broken, we can't fix it. But now you're starting to understand, oh, it's not me. I have no strategy. I never think about how can I live at my goal weight forever. I think about how can I drastically change things immediately so I can lose weight as fast as possible. That's how you think. What's up, Ashley? How's that foot? How can you practice consistently? That's a great question, Nicole. I love questions like that. See, that's the question. See, let me just reframe your weight loss. You think weight loss is hard because it's hard to give up the foods. I'm not saying, listen, that is a part of it, no doubt. But the bigger part of it is that your brain likes to maintain the status quo. You do what you did. Your subconscious mind just runs on autopilot. And so you're thinking weight loss is hard because you have to say no to your favorite foods. I'm telling you, weight loss is hard because you're changing your automated behaviors. If you really want to understand why weight loss is as hard as it feels, a big part of it is, imagine tomorrow you woke up and you're like, you know what? I'm going to brush my teeth and I am going to use my computer mouse with my other hand. Now you can do it, but it takes lots and lots of mental energy to do it, right? You can do it. You know what you're supposed to do, but now you got to be very, very conscious and aware of how you're brushing your teeth, using that computer mouse, it's ballot, right? And you're getting pissed because it takes so much energy and thought to change those automated behaviors and do them consciously. You get annoyed. I don't want to do this. This sucks. You see, we're built to do things on autopilot. Well, your eating on autopilot keeps you overweight. So you have to change your automated eating behaviors. You have to make them feel natural and normal. That's how you get on the path of weight mastery. So consistency is absolutely key. So again, program yourself thin. One key part of the program is that there are hypnosis. Now listen, I know this. So I send you the program through your phone because I know tomorrow morning you're going to look at your phone as soon as you wake up. You're going to see a message from me. You're going to click it and there's going to be a 5-minute hypnosis session. For 8 weeks, every morning you listen to a 5-minute hypnosis session. You calm down, you relax, you get this positive stuff in your mind. You get a core weight loss mantra put into your brain each session. And then at night, there's another session. That's a 10-minute one. It's a sleep hypnosis session. One of them has a count out. You listen to it and wake back up, go rest of your night. The other one has no count out. So you listen as you're going to sleep. And you listen to those weight loss mantras as you're relaxing, going to sleep. So you're bookending your days with these new ways of thinking. And that's how you work on consistency in the beginning. We start simple and easy. You're way overwhelming yourself. When you guys try and lose weight, you are way overcorrecting and you're overwhelming yourself. You're trying to change way too much too quickly. And it freaks you out and you can't stick with it. And now you have a very negative mindset about it because you've done this 50 times. It hasn't worked, not even close to working. And you know that. So it's not that you can't do it. It's that you have a shitty strategy or none at all. I have a question. I read the book, The Pleasure Trap, and I'm wondering if you have thoughts. You know what? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. Yeah. Ashley's in the program. The Pleasure Trap. You know, it feels so familiar to me. Let me look this up. You know, what I do, I use kind of like a digital brain. I read a lot of books. And so my reading system is I sit down and I read and I have a notebook that I write kind of the best stuff that I think's in there. I don't try and remember it. The best stuff will stick in my head anyways, but most of them just kind of writing down verbatim. You know, I'll write down the best lines or things I see, and then I'll take those writings and I'll put them into Evernote, which is kind of a digital notebook. And then I'll review them in there. But I'll be honest, I've gotten to the point where half the time I don't even know what book I'm reading because I just rely on this thing so much. But let's see. Let me see if I read that because it sounds familiar, but I will get it if I don't think I did read that one yet. Good. So my memory's not too bad. It's good because I will say like the good books, you know, I don't forget about. So I will check that out. I'll write that down right now. Thanks, Ashley. Always looking for new books, you know? And that, by the way, is, I think, very important. That's part of the process here. I think a lot of people make the mistake when it comes to weight loss that subconsciously you're thinking of that goal weight as like the finish line, you know? And I think you got to reframe that. And you have to start realizing that your goal weight is the starting line, right? You want to be at your goal weight forever. And if you're really smart, I think you'll move that starting line right up to the beginning. So in Programming Yourself Thin, we start with your maintenance plan, you know? So yeah, so I'm going to read that book and I will get back to you. I got like 3 books I'm so excited to read. That's really the nuts and bolts of weight loss. And, yeah, a lot of similarities I noticed. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I appreciate you saying that. Okay. Just describe what you do. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that. Yeah, Ashley was in the whole program. She was in the full program, coaching and everything. So, you know, listen, that's what I say to you. I actually, yeah, I just a little bit quick history on Program Yourself Thin. I've been doing this for 20 years. You know, and I've actually Program Yourself Thin I've had for 20 years. That was the first program I created. Because when I started, well, my story started 30 years ago. I dropped 50 pounds, you know, but I've kept it off. That's the key thing. So anyways, I used all that stuff and I created Program Yourself Thin, and I've been tweaking that program for 20 years. But the last 5 years or so, I've really been mostly doing private coaching. Now I kind of sat down last year and I was like, I love private coaching, but my mission really is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. And I was like, I'm not able to do that because I only have so much time and it's a lot of money. It's a 25 grand to work with me privately. And so I know that's not for most people. I understand that. So I came up with this group program and I redid Program Yourself Thin again. And I created a group program where I was able to offer group coaching. And so we meet every Tuesday and Thursday and, on Zoom, you know, and I keep the group small so I can work, you know, individually with you. And so that's been exciting, but so then, yeah. So anyways, long story short is that, get that self-hypnosis session and the training I give you. And then, you get information on all different things I offer to help you out. Cool Cat Casey says, I fear failure. Yeah. A lot of people fear failure, but you know, if you get on the path of mastery, there is no failure. In NLP, one of their presuppositions, NLP, neuro linguistic programming. I'm an NLP trainer. It's kind of like hypnosis. It's kind of like the science of modeling. But anyways, we have like the presuppositions. It's almost like the 10 commandments of NLP. One of them is there's no failure, only feedback. That's a core weight loss mantra too, by the way. Because, when it comes to weight loss, most people approach it's all or nothing, right? Which is to say, if I'm not perfect, then I'm not succeeding. So there's a couple mantras in the program. I'll just share them with you. One of them is that you don't need to be perfect to lose weight. Mistakes are your greatest teachers. Those are just a couple of the mantras that you get in there. It's so good. This program is so good. It's funny. Like it's so good because it's like there's 67 hypnosis sessions, just the daily ones. And there's another 25 in the library. But what happens is a little bit each and every day, you're deeply installing these new ideas and concepts, ways of thinking that impact how you think about food, yourself, weight loss, weight mastery, all of these things. Because what you don't realize is you've never had good conditioning coming in your head. Sorry. If you lived in America, it's just nonstop food advertisement triggering our cravings and desire for those foods. And then it's diet bullshit. And so we don't get a chance to ever get positive stuff. That's what this program is. Because where are you getting? And so, by the way, again, I know I keep saying this, but it's like when you sign up for the hypnosis session and I give you a training too, I also email you every day, and it's just, it's ideas and concepts to help change how you're thinking about this, and all that's free. Okay. So, but if you change everything, if you took my brain and put it in anyone's head, we're going to start losing weight instantly. It's a mind game. Your mindset is the number one thing impacting your weight. And I'm not talking about mindset. I've come to realize that some people use the word mindset and lifestyle almost like buzzwords. For me, there's a lot of meaning there. And I don't think the meaning's there for a lot of people. I think when a lot of times, watch this too, a lot of people using the word mindset, and really what they mean is just have a just do it attitude. Come on, let's do it. Just do it. Just do it. No pain, no gain. It's really just, they're using mindset as a word to imply more willpower. That's not what I mean. When I say mindset specifically, I'm talking about 6 categories I take you through in the program and help you optimize each of them. Your motivation, which you don't know, you have no control of your motivation, folks. If you really, really, really wanted to lose weight, like 10 out of 10 wanted to lose weight, it's one of the easiest things on the planet to do. Now, you don't believe me, but I'm going to prove it to you. Right now, what do you think, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to lose weight? Write it in there if you want to, but I want right now, how motivated are you to lose weight? I want you to think about that. At least answer it in your mind. Okay. If you want to write it in, go ahead. And now what I want to do is I want to challenge that because I don't think that's accurate. Okay. 7. All right. Thank you. And I appreciate you people writing that in there because it gives me more context. That's usually what people will answer, somewhere in the 7-8 range. Okay. Now, and this is just a thought experiment. This isn't pleasant. The harder I try, the worse I do. I get that too, Nicole. That's very interesting you said that. And Ross, I was just about to write to you, and I was reaching out to you. Now, Ann, I know is a 10 because Ann's lost over 55 pounds. So, Ann, yeah, I got a special email. I'm sending it to you. I meant to send this week and I caught up, but be on the lookout for it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll do that. Okay. So let me do the thought experiment with you just to see if that was accurate or not. Imagine the person in your life that you love the most was kidnapped. And the kidnapper said, if you don't lose weight this month, you're never going to see this person again. And I'm going to put all your favorite foods around the house. In that situation, how motivated would you be to lose weight? Right? I want you to really think about this. I know it's unpleasant, but it's just a thought experiment. And I want you to connect to what it would feel like if that situation were real, that level of motivation. Because if you could feel that level of motivation, how easy would it be? Would you struggle to lose weight that month? Or would it be the easiest weight loss? Instant commitment, Lizzie says. Exactly. That's what I mean. Now, I say this because we learn through contrast. If we're just walking around thinking we're at a 7, 8, 9 of motivation, right? Because now that's the question here, right? So now you know what a real 10 feels like. Were you really at 7? Or was it more like a 3, 4? Now, again, this is very insightful if this is the case, because if it's really at a 3, 4, well, now you know the prime reason you're not getting the results you want. You're not really motivated. You wish you'd lose weight, but you don't really want to. And you don't want to because you think your weight loss motivation primarily comes from wanting to look better. Yeah, 5 or 6. That's what I mean. So you need to be able to crank that motivation up. My motivation to lose weight and be at my goal weight is 10 out of 10. And it's rooted in the idea that my dad died at 54 of a heart attack. So my motivation is not wanting to look better. I don't really give a shit. I mean, I like the way I look. It's a small piece of it, no doubt, but it's a big piece of, I don't want to die at 54. I don't want to leave my kids, my wife, my family. I want to live every second I can. And I think mastering my weight, my health, how I'm living, how I'm eating is going to do that, you know? So my motivation's way higher, and yours can be too. And when it's higher, everything's a lot easier. There's still a lot of work to do, folks. I'm not saying that's the only thing. But I think that's the first thing. So back to mindset, there's motivation, there's your self-image. Weight loss isn't just about changing your eating. It's about transforming yourself from the inside out into the person you want to be. You're not approaching it that way. You're thinking you're going outside in. Well, if I lose the weight, then I'll be a different person. Not necessarily. Why do 95% of people put the weight back on? They didn't change and they put the weight back on. Habits, how to neuroscientifically, strategically approach your habits. You're not doing anything strategically. You're just using willpower to try and change how you eat. It lasts for a little while. Managing your emotions. Do you know how to feel the emotions you want? Deal with the emotions you don't want to feel without food? Probably not, because we're conditioned to use food as our main emotional management strategy. Thinking like a thin person, the literal nuts and bolts of the thoughts. How do you think like a thin person? What questions do you ask? What are the mindsets that support that? Learning that's very valuable. And then maintenance, how to literally maintain, not just maintain your weight loss, folks, how to maintain from day 1 to day 2, week 1 to week 2, month 1 to month 2. You have no strategy to do that. You've got one thing, willpower. It ain't working. So those 6 categories are what we go through in depth just for the mindset piece. Again, Program Yourself Thin is the most comprehensive weight mastery program on the market. It's definitely the best hypnosis program by 100 miles. There's nothing even close to it. You see one of these hypnosis programs that sells you 3 sessions, don't get it, please. Do you mean you need consistency? You need different sessions. You need to hit this from different angles. That's the way to do it. Yep, Ann says it's the best program. Thanks, Ann. And you're just killing it with it. Yeah. Mine is I want better blood pressure and lower cholesterol. Yes, Sarah, right? Now, that's not even enough either, folks. We can't just look at numbers on a scale. We can't just look at blood work numbers even. Because we're one step away from getting a lot more value out of them. Here's what I mean, right? You could say, oh, I want to weigh X amount of pounds. I want to have X number for cholesterol. And those things mean something. But what means a lot more is when you step into that reality, okay? So notice the difference between saying, I want to weigh X amount of pounds and taking a moment and imagining yourself at your goal weight. What would it feel like? How would you hold yourself? How would you breathe? How would it feel to be at your goal weight as that version of you in that body? How would you dress? How would you move through your day? How would you speak to people? How would you feel? Does that feel different than when you think of just the number? Do you see what I mean? You're not giving your goal any context. It has very little meaning. Then that creates very little motivation. And so the blood pressure and lower cholesterol, again, we know what that means logically, but let's step into that reality, because the beauty of that reality is there's a sense of freedom and calm because you know you're doing the right stuff. You're excited to go to the doctor's office because you know that you're doing the right things. You feel congruent. You feel powerful. You feel in control. See, that's the part that the numbers don't give you. This is why you need to give more meaning. You create more emotion for your goal. When you do this, what happens is you start to feel pulled. You start to magnetize the goal, so you start to feel pulled towards it. That's where I'm at, right? I've been at the same weight for 30 years. I had one little blip about 12 years ago. So what motivates me? It's not the scale going down. It's the way that I'm living. And I love living this way. Again, it's a mindset, lifestyle, eating piece. Which, by the way, again, I'm going to say this again because I want you to get the hypnosis session that I give you in my bio, okay? That gets you on my email list. As soon as you opt in for it, I bring you to a training, 3 steps to master your weight. It's about 30 minutes. It will change the way you think about your weight. And you'll be on my email list. I email you every day, positive, great stuff. But the other thing is I'm about to do a training, the Weight Mastery Pyramid. Again, any of that in the program, we're going to do a live call. I'm going to do this, and then if you have any questions, we'll talk about it. But I'm going to do a live call for everyone too. So get on that list. Okay, it's going to help you. Lizzie says, I came across an old diary from about 5-6 years ago. Long story short, I weigh so much more now. That'll happen. And again, I can't tell you guys this, you need to have more patience with this process. You know that you should have more patience. You know that logically, but you cannot create the feeling. You know you should love your body more, but you can't create the feeling. You know you should be more motivated, but you can't create the feeling. You have not learned the most important piece of being a human, in my opinion, which is how to influence your thinking, which influences your thoughts, which influences your behaviors. You've never learned any of this stuff, and I know it because I had to go. You just like went on a 30-year trek for it, and it's just not out there. It just easily, I put it all together easily. That's what I'm sharing with you. It's like you've just never learned these things. Makes me crazy. That's why I get so passionate about this, like Ann was just here, right? She's lost over 55 pounds, right? Using this method. And, she was just as smart when she started the program, right? So if you're going to get my program right, if you're here right now, you're an overthinker. I already know you're an overthinker. I talk fast. There's only people that sit here and listen to me. And so I'm an overthinker and a bit of a perfectionist. And, she was, as pretty much every client I have is an overthinker and a perfectionist. And this drives them crazy because they're overthinking their weight, but they're overthinking the problem. What's wrong with me? How come I can't stick with a plan? Why can't I change my behaviors? Why do I keep eating ice cream? Why do I keep eating the candy? Why can't I stop eating sugar? Why can't I do this? Why don't I stop that? Why don't I do this? Right? You're focused and fixated on what you're doing wrong. And you think that you're going to have this magical cognitive breakthrough at some point. It's going to change everything, but what you don't realize is what you're really doing is every time you keep focusing on all the things you do wrong, you're programming those things into your subconscious mind, right? If I say, oh, why did I overeat all that McDonald's last night? What are you imagining in your mind? You're imagining yourself eating McDonald's, you're overeating McDonald's food. And so you're reinforcing those neural pathways, that muscle memory. So what's the alternative? It's something you never do. But I think as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, holy shit. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But you're never going to think about it on your own. And I don't know why this is. My program is 90% just common sense shit that people just never think of on their own. Right. So what do? You overate at McDonald's yesterday. What do you do about that? Just forget about it. Go on. No, that's not going to change anything. You're going to do the same thing again. Beat yourself up about it. Nope. You're just reinforcing that behavior and you're going to do it again. So what do? It's so elegant. This is the core part of the program self-tin system. You couldn't think of what I'm going to say probably in 50 years. And it's not because I'm a genius. It's because I've done over 5,000 private weight loss sessions. Eventually you start to notice things. So what's the solution? The solution is, how do you want to eat in that situation? How would the ideal you at your goal weight in that scenario yesterday handle it differently? Well, now all of a sudden you say, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I know. You never think about you at your goal weight, the best version of you. You never think about the best version of you, other than just fleeting general and vague ideas. You never nuts and bolts consistently every day think about the best version of you and how that you acts, thinks, and behaves in your life. And so you can't create it. You have to think about this process of becoming thin as an inside-out process. And we'll just go to the muscle metaphor. The overweight you is this big jacked up bodybuilder with strong muscles. It's easy to stay that way. The healthy thin you is kind of weak and doesn't have any connections, right? There's no neural path. I don't know how to think like a thin, healthy person, Jim. I don't know how to feel or behave like a thin, healthy person. Yeah, I know that. But that's the process. That's what you have to do to become thin and healthy. You can't just not become overweight. Do you know what I mean? I hope that's making sense. It's becoming the person you want to be. You never think about who you want to be. It's unclear, it's vague, and it feels distant. You're disconnected from it. This is your core problem. That's what that's why the session I give you, by the way, is called the New Thin Me. So you can clarify and connect to the dream body you want to live in, the goal weight you want to live at, the best version of you want to be. You never think about this and it has no context to you. I know this. Again, my private rate is 25 grand. Okay. So obviously people that are paying me $25,000 are extremely successful and smart, at least with business and money. Okay. And so you have these extremely smart, intelligent people, action-oriented people. And it's always the same story though. I say, okay, you've told me what you don't want to be. Now tell me about who you want to be. What's the best version of you? You know what I always hear? I'd be at my goal weight. I'd be healthy. I'd be happy. It's vague. There's no clarity to it. It's blurry, unclear, and there's no connection to it. There's no motivation to it because it just feels like nothing, And then you compare that to the pleasure of the food. Well, that feels real. Yeah, I know how to eat ice cream. I can do that. Best version of me, nothing's there. So what happens when you do have a clear version of what the best version of you is? This is where it gets interesting. Because listen, folks, what's the main thing you got to deal with? Well, the pleasure of the food. That food's hyper pleasurable. Your brain, body want that food. And what you're trying to do to lose weight is you're trying to restrict that pleasure. You're trying to say, no more pleasure. No more food pleasure. We're going to stop that so we can lose weight. That's your approach, is it not? No more pleasure. No more food pleasure. No, we want to lose weight. What a shitty, that feels like shit. right? I'm doing it right now. And I'm like, oh, yay. That feels like shit. And you know what happens when you feel like shit for a little while? Your body and brain say, fuck this. This ain't worth it. This ain't worth it. No way. I'm not gonna lose weight anyways. Fuck it. Get the ice cream. Is that not what's happening, folks? Right? Come on, you got to pay attention to the deeper stuff that's happening. So okay, so we recognize the food's pleasurable. We keep that. We don't even, Ben and Jerry's, cookies. Oh, see all the best. We don't have to pretend it doesn't exist. Pizza, pasta, chips, whatever your favorite food is. Okay, it's pleasurable. Got it. But how often do you think and connect to the pleasure of being your ideal self? That's why if you watch my sessions on TikTok, what's the most popular ones and the one that's instrumental? Program Yourself Thin's built around a self-hypnosis technique you use, a redo technique, rehearsal technique. That rehearsal technique's the shit. Because what happens is every night you're connecting to the best version of you. And what happens is, the pleasure of the food's pleasurable for sure. But what if you could wake up tomorrow morning? What if we lived in a reality where if tomorrow morning, if you ate well today, you'd wake up tomorrow morning at your goal weight in your dream body? How pleasurable that food now, right? If that was real, because it's just a thought experiment. But if you woke up today and you said, okay, if I can eat well today, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at my goal weight. How tempted would you be by ice cream and cookies, right? Because now all of a sudden the pleasure of your body and that reality goes way up here. Everything's relative, folks, but all you're doing is you're living a reality of commercials that are constantly focusing you on the food pleasure and trying to lose weight with a diet. You're never, ever connecting to the pleasure of being the best version of you. Once you do, it changes everything. All right. Man, there's so many good questions too, and I got to get out of here. I got a call coming up, but all right, everyone. Snowy, I see what you're saying real quick. Get out of here. I do these every day. So folks, if I didn't get your question today, I apologize. I love to answer your questions. That's what I usually do, but I got to get out of here. And, but listen, go to my bio, click that link and get that hypnosis session. Please get that hypnosis session and watch the training. Any questions you're asking, I guarantee that'll go a way towards answering it, because the answer is not found within the dieter's mindset. Okay. The answer is found by stepping outside of that dieter's mindset and stepping into a different mental reality for how you think about your weight. That's the secret for you. And I give it to you for free. It's free. Go to the bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the training. That's it. It's free. Just go at least sign up for it today. And then again, I'm doing a training. The Weight Mastery Pyramid is going to knock your socks off. That's going to be free. Okay. So, all right, everyone, I got to get out of here. I wish I could answer your questions. I apologize, everyone, for questions I missed. I will get them. And I usually do, but I got to get going. All right, everyone, have a super day. We'll talk soon. Bye.